You think anybody wants a roundhouse kick to the face while I'm wearing this bad boy? Huh? Huh? Watch this. Here's what you do.
Break the wrist and walk away.
Break the wrist and walk away.
That's right.
Well, if y'all hadn't figured out, we're talking about self-defense today. So, Pulling No Punches, episode 2. Got his little girly wine glass over here. I'm still drinking Keystones, so it works itself out.
Cracking in my
But I've lost my paper. Go find my paper.
Good thing we're doing it
All
radio.
right. First thing. Last time we talked about how karate classes were back in the day versus how they are now and how we perceive them and stuff like that. It's just so we're going to hop back on to the next little. I'm coming up with all these. Jose's just like, whatever, we're just going to talk about it.
I'm just here for the beer.
Just here for the beer. Were you drinking wine tonight?
A little change is good sometimes.
Yeah, I like that cup too.
That's right.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yes.
Oh, before we get into all this, I want to give a shout out to
Shout out. We're doing shout outs.
yeah,
now.
might as well, to one of the biggest fan, actually a couple of biggest fan, Mike Mangum and Uncle Ray Nelson. Aren't they both from the east side of Georgia? The east side of Georgia. You know what I'm talking about?
Mike Mangum
Yeah.
from the east side of Georgia.
You know what I'm talking about.
I don't think I do.
Oh, we're gonna get a phone call here in a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
It's all right.
it's a good thing we're not doing it live. So, anyway, self-defense. We talk about stuff a lot where people think that you can do stuff, and is it going to actually work? Do you teach self-defense in a karate class? A lot of people think you do, but I mean, at the same time, it might get you killed. So, my personal opinion before we get started is best thing you can do is just look them straight in the face and go, "That's my purse. I don't know you." And then whoop, kick them right in the nuts. And then you exit the situation.
If it works,
You Bobby Hill them. You straight Bobby Hill them. I don't care if you got a purse or not. That's the line.
all up in it.
That's going to distract them. They're going to be like, "Oh man, he didn't even have a fucking purse. What are we talking about?"
All up in it.
You just got to let it go.
Just yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So, first things first. What is self-defense? How do you define self-defense? For me, it's more of, we call it self-preservation. It's whatever you have to do to get yourself out of a situation that could or is causing you harm, to get out of it. Not to try to beat somebody. It's not a competition. It's not a sport. It's not anything like that. It's just the most simplistic thing you can do to get your ass out of a situation that you don't need to be in anymore because you're fearful of what's going to happen to you or what has already happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Jose, I did a pretty damn good definition. You're going to have it now. What's your definition?
Well, I mean, when you have no other choice, anything goes. It's just, I mean, it's either you or them, and it better be you. When you're back against the wall, I mean, anything goes. You got to do what you got to do in order to make it.
Okay, so based off of that, I just want to ask you that because you teach a class and you have certain things that you do to help with self-defense. Mm-hmm. So, how do you teach someone how to do things that they normally wouldn't do? How do they learn how to be able to do it in a class setting?
I mean, the class setting, it takes longer because you have to break everything down. Everything from the basic punches and kicks, knees, elbows, where to grab, how to grab. You have to break everything down in order for a person to understand what they're doing and practice. Because it wouldn't be not a damn thing if you do it a couple of times and that's the end of that. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of repetition, a lot of memorizing, and do it. I mean, do it. You know what I'm saying? Do it. I mean, hard, not just.
You can't just do it where somebody's letting you do what you gotta. It's gotta be done under pressure, where somebody is what's the word I'm looking for here? there has to be resistance.
Right.
Somebody can't just always go, "Oh, I got your arm. I'm just you just," and then done.
No.
Doesn't work that way. Shut up, Jetson.
No,
It's one thing you do in self-defense with one specific person. To me, that would not be really self-defense. That would be more like drills. You have to do it in the heat of the moment. Rather than there, you have to act and react. Rather than there, you matter of seconds. Other than that, and then it's too late, too long, and it's too bad for you.
All right. So how do you teach that? How do you? What are some drills that you go through that
For the younger crowd, there's times that we work on a couple, maybe 2 different things, and we just work on that thing nonstop, over and over and over. Once we work on those, and then I'll play a little game to where I'll pick one person to go outside, and then one person inside with the rest of the class, and that one person inside the class is going to grab the person coming in. The person coming in has no idea who's going to grab them, when, where. So that way it will have to be like the element of surprise, what to do, when to, all that. I mean, that way you start learning, what it's like to, out of the blue, get, somebody grabbing you or whatever the case may be. You have to start learning to deal with those things rather than you just throwing a punch, I know it's coming, or throwing a kick, and this blah blah. It's not the same. That way they'll have fun, but at the same time they start learning to start being aware of things around them. Yeah.
Well, how do you keep somebody from getting hurt if they don't know what's in a preset self-defense kind of thing? Both the defender and the attacker knows what's going to go on, so the person that's throwing or whatever, or grabbing the person, I mean, that way they don't get popped in the eye or accidentally hit in the nuts or something like that. I mean, you don't. How do you keep that from happening in the class setting to where it's still putting them under pressure to where it makes them react versus, oh man, they just ripped this guy's toenail off and now he's like, oh man, he don't want to come back to class.
In the class setting, of course, you have to talk to the students and explain things to the students. Here in the class setting, to some degree, you have to have control. And I was telling them, in the real world, everything and anything goes. It don't matter. When you're here for safety, you can do whatever, but just be careful. Don't hit somebody straight in the mouth. You could still show in speed, but without really trying to kill somebody. Now, in the real world, once you go and somebody lay hands on you, and it's open season.
All right. Well, that brings me to my next question. Well, because I see a problem with that. Because if they never do what they need to do to get themselves out of something, how do they know they can do it? How do they know under pressure that I'm gonna be able to fish hook you and get you off of me? Or how do you know that I'm gonna be able to? Well, I'm just gonna do the 5-finger death touch and I'm gonna pluck your eyeball out.
No, finger you.
How do you? Well, that too. How do you know that you can pull somebody's eyeball out if you've never actually done it?
Well, just like everything else, you won't know until, in real world, a lot of stuff that we do, you really won't know until it happens. Some people might freeze right in there. Some people might go ballistic and, just pull a nine and just shoot you down right where you're standing. It all depends on the person, how they train, how they react, or if they're crazy as hell.
I guess that's a good thing. So what you're saying is if you're crazy as hell, you got a lot better chance of getting yourself out of a situation that you don't need to be in.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but you just said that, like learning how to, they may be able to hit something with an elbow or a knee or even a headbutt. But if you've never actually done it and hit something with that, how you got to be able to, that's my thing. One of the best things ever is pressure testing stuff and you can pressure test it, but it's got to be contact oriented. Mm-hmm. It means somebody's got to be swinging at you. They have to intend to cause you harm, and you have to be able to deal with that and react to that.
Yep.
So, I guess you've got to be able to know that if I hit this person, I know I can take them down. If you've never hit somebody, you don't know. Same thing. If you've never actually been hit, no, we're not. I'm not saying go to a class and stand up against the wall and let people just square on punch you right in the face.
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be a level of contact involved to it. Otherwise, first time you get hit, what's it say? Best, nobody knows how they're going to react, Mike Tyson. All right, so in the words of Mike Tyson, everybody got a plan to get punched in the mouth. So that's what I'm getting at. You have no idea how you're going to react to something until it happens.
Yep.
Everybody got a plan. I'm gonna mess your shit up, Jose, and then bam, pow, you punch me right in the mouth,
That's right.
right out the window.
Night.
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 Good Lord. So you got to train it under pressure. It's a must. Like I said, I like the idea of contact sparring or contact drills, and like he said, you got to practice it over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, look at that. Look, we got Cobra Kai and the Wet Bandits, baby.
That's right.
That's right.
All of it.
Okay. But you got to practice it. If you don't practice it, you have no idea. And you can't just practice it going, I grabbed your wrist, do the wrist break and walk away.
Break your wrist, walk away.
Oh, and then I let go of his wrist. Doesn't work that way. You got to have there has to be some type of realism. And it may not work, but you're in a better place to make it to work if you've done it over and over and over and over and over again under pressure to make it work.
Yep.
So that's another thing. Some people do these like women's self-defense classes where you have one class for an hour and then they come in and pay so much money. And then, I mean, you're trying to get people killed and hurt. I mean, there's no way you can teach somebody something within an hour time span to where they're going to be able to react to it. I mean, you got students that you may teach for 25 years that can't do that. So how are you going to do that within an hour time span one time and charge them $75 for a self-defense seminar?
Nope.
It's crazy.
Yep.
All right, so next thing. The way that karate schools are set up, karate schools that we know that we see, we can even talk about bullshit we see on YouTube that is, pretty freaking crazy. Do you think that we set people up for failure, or do you think it's false advertisement when we tell them you will learn self-defense? Is that a true statement? Any martial arts or karate school you go to, are you going to learn to defend yourself?
No.
You started saying that.
I guess it depends on the school. It depends on. It depends on a lot of things. Now, I've seen a lot of schools that I visited too that they'll tell you one thing, it'll be completely different. Me personally, I can't stand when somebody tell you one thing, it'll be something different, or when it's too watered down, false hope, false advertisement. I can't stand on those things. Those things give the ones that are actually trying to do good and actually, work hard for what they're doing. It give a lot of us a bad name. My school, we do self-defense, but it's a lot. Some things come first, and depends. If we're going to work on self-defense, though, we are going to work on self-defense. I mean, and it's going to take a good while. Don't know how long it's going to take until you get it. But as far as just doing self-defense one night, here you go, that's it and that's that, and then no, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. I've seen doing testings and this is where it drives me crazy. Some of the tests that I've seen, the self-defense, nowadays it's a joke. It's a joke because people don't take things seriously, don't apply things the way it needs to be applied, don't push it the way it needs to be pushed. If you're gonna teach self-defense, it needs to be done the way it's meant to be done, and practice it the way it needs to be done, and that's it. I mean,
in order to practice it to be done for what? What's the end goal?
You get to the point to where it should be right then there. If you have to defend yourself, to where it should be.
You've done it enough that you could rely on that in theory if you needed to pull from that back.
Right, where you shouldn't just stand there and think about things. You should react right in there and apply it. Not, well, what do I do now? If you think about, well, what I do now, it's too late. You might as well lay down and play dead.
You're going to like this one. You're trying to give yourself enough arrows in the quiver that whenever you reach back, there's one you can go, pow, pow, like that, right? That was pretty good.
Yeah,
that's right.
Some pow like that. But, you know, I've seen testings where people just either got stuff still written down, they have to look at it. I've seen people teaching self-defense they should not be teaching self-defense.
Why is that?
Because they don't know what they're doing. You see
How
me
so?
Because we know.
I know when somebody tries to come at me full force. I've had somebody try to come at me full force. I kind of have an idea because I've been there. I've been scared shitless, going, "Oh my God, he's going to kill me! He's going to kill me!" And you have to do something to react and respond to it.
On like, for example, my testings, I tell all the students, hey, whatever you do, it has to work. That there's not just go through the motions no, it has to work. It has to be true self-defense.
But not everything works for everybody in every scenario.
No. See, that's the thing too. Whatever you come up with, whatever you work, it has to feed you. It has to feed it has to fit that one person, because that one person is doing this doesn't mean it will work for the next person. It has to work for you. You cannot try to be Jet Li and you know, no. It has
be matrixing stuff and moving on backwards and getting the.
And that's another thing too. You have to learn. There's two different self-defense. There's what I call the Hollywood, what we do for demonstrations to make it look good and all this stuff. Then you have the real self-defense, to where it's either you or them, live or die type of self-defense. That is it.
I think that's what a lot of people look at, though, is because what they see for self-defense after what we've done for many, many years, we go to do a demonstration for somebody. What you do for the demonstration, in my opinion, you should put your best foot forward. Show them the best of the best, not what. Because one, you're trying to get students in there, you're trying to advertise your school, but two, it's always your most flashy stuff, right? Not always, but you like to throw that in there because that gets people's attention and it's an eye catcher. So, like you said, you've got self-defense, the Hollywood style that you see in the movies, and even self-defense stuff. We're talking about self-defense in terms of, one, we're talking about reality. Two, we're talking about in the confines of a karate world or a martial arts class world. You got styles like Kempo and stuff like that, who their kata and stuff like that, their forms are basically just self-defense movements set in a sequence that we would call like combinations, but they're self-defense things. They have self-defense set curriculum that this is what you learn per belt rank as a self-defense thing. I think that's good because they're always doing it, but at the same time, it can be a little bit flashy and showy too. They're slapping themselves and all that stuff and kicking people from behind. I have no idea what the hell you just did, and you might scare the shit out of me. But right, when somebody comes up behind you and just goes, you know what? Guess what? Wham! That might not work.
Nope.
Well, that was good. That's
right. That's true.
But so I mean, you got the Hollywood stuff that. We grew up that way because in the testings and that's what a self-defense routine would consist of. All right, so why am I doing a self-defense routine where somebody does like a high round kick at me and I block, parry it, low kick, high kick? It looks good for me. I can't really high kick, but you know I know how to do the block and the kick, and I can move them off balance and do stuff like that. But you think somebody's going to try to round kick me in the head when we're out there on the street? Absolutely not. That's what I'm getting at. We do moves like that because they look good to show, but they don't mean a damn when it comes down to it.
Mm-mm.
Grabs, chokes, I mean, just wild swinging.
Yep.
And another thing that we do is it's a one swing type thing, and then you block it and then do 55 other moves, and then at the end you go, I stomp them and go, ah! And like you just killed them. You know what I mean? That's crazy. It's crazy, folks. And we grew up doing that only because I'm not meaning any disrespect. That's the way that people were doing it, and that's the way we saw it done. So that's what people. Well, this is how you do it. This is how you do. You got to have that finish. But if you got to stomp on the head, stomp your ass on the head. This day and age, they're going to take your ass to jail for assault. Mm-hmm. Even though they were coming at you, you just stomped them in the face when they were down. Okay. It doesn't work that way.
You would rock that orange jumpsuit, though.
You think so?
Yeah, you would rock it.
We're not going to talk about that right now.
But I tell my students, you always gotta have that what if. It don't matter what if this happened this way. You have to have always in your mind different scenarios. What if, and then from there go from there. And yeah, I mean, I tell my students sometimes in self-defense, it's not just only when that person grabs you. It should be you always gotta pay attention wherever you go. You gotta pay attention. I mean, it's bad when nowadays, I mean, they're kidnapping kids from their own beds or going to the mailbox. You have to be, pay attention and be careful where you go, who's around you. You just have to pay attention.
Situational awareness. You've got to be aware of the situation. I don't know why. I mean, always when I'm carrying my keys out, I've got them so where I don't care if they're just in my hand. That makes it a weight where I could hit something with it, or I could. You ever been at a little point like that? Imagine if you just went whack on somebody. That shit would hurt.
Ain't nobody gonna kidnap you.
I'm just saying.
They'll bring you right back.
I don't want them. They would, which is
like, hell no, I wouldn't want his.
That's my. Pat myself on the back for that. Nobody could handle my ass. I don't think.
Nobody gonna take you.
Well, that's a good thing.
Then you might come across one and go.
Well, you never. Well, that's what I'm saying. You never know. There may be one of them like, all right. Had that happen in Auburn one time, and I had to just get the hell out of Dodge. But you just got to be like, hell no. You got to go.
I don't want to know.
Well, I'm just saying. It's a bad. I don't like the. I'm not telling the story right here, but it was one of those ones. It was a situational awareness thing. It was like, hey, no, hell no, and then you just get on out of there.
I think we've been in crazy places around crazy people.
Well, I mean,
we've dealt with a lot of craziness,
and you just got to know you can't get belligerent. We do like to drink and stuff like that, but you've also got to be aware with that stuff right there. Yeah. If not, you can't just walk up to somebody and just because you got liquid courage going on, somebody says something, go, you know what? Let me tell you something. No, man, shut up. You gotta have enough forethought and common sense to go, guess what? Do we need to be in this situation? Absolutely not.
And that's another thing too. Don't let the person put hands on you. Don't let them grab you. What about if that person is stronger than you? Well, guess what? You're going to be eating concrete, grass, dog shit, whatever's in the floor, ground. You're done for. You don't know if that person is mad, crazy, psycho crazy, and put a grip on you. Then you can't get away. And then what you going to do? Don't let a person put hands on you. Whatever.
Well, you know what I think is okay? If I happen to get myself in a situation to where I'm fearful. It may be my best buddy putting his hand on my back. Guess what? He's about to get. You're about to catch something. I don't care who was touching me. Hey, you gotta be aware of stuff like that.
Like a crackhead.
Yeah.
And I tell my students, if something was to happen, and you have to defend yourself, whatever the case may be, even if you just throat punch somebody, I'm not gonna fault you for.
It's better to do that then and ask questions later than to not make it out of that situation. Yeah. That's what I was getting at. I don't care if you're my buddy. You just grabbed me. We were in a tense situation. I'm sorry I popped you.
Yeah, just go. If you gotta run, break. Hey, it's the damn Olympics.
Take off.
Go. Just go.
That's right.
But you know what? You live to fight another day. Then you try to be Bruce Leroy and you get stabbed, shot, whatever. I mean, end up with something that you don't want to end up with. You know what I'm saying?
And unlike, I don't know. I think we're the two closest people that could catch a bullet with our teeth, like Bruce Leroy. But
that's right.
I don't think it would work. Okay, don't think it would work for you.
Mine would.
Sure enough, would have just got your ass. All right. So, self-defense when it comes to. I like talking about it in terms of testings because I've been around conversations like this before. And is it good to teach certain things that everybody kind of needs to know how to do, and then also things that they can just come up with on the fly? I'm talking about in terms of if you're going to grade someone to a new belt level. I don't personally believe you should have self-defense as a grading requirement because how do I know that person can't do that? How do I know they can? just by watching them do something, it's not going to tell me, oh man, they're proficient in that. My ass. And then they got away. I don't know that they could. I don't know that they can't. So it's so subjective to me that it would be my opinion going, yes, they could. You don't know they could have done. He ripped his eyeball out. Just how do you know you can rip somebody's eyeball out? You don't know that. Have I ever tried to rip your eyeball out? Then I don't know if I could, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then. All right. Even the monkey steals the peach. I know that I could grab them and pull,
All up in there.
but I don't know. It may be slippery. They may be sweaty. I don't know that it'd be enough to actually do it.
That don't sound like an eyeball.
I'm just saying.
It don't sound like balls. I'm just
Well,
saying.
it happens.
I don't know why you be grabbing balls, but that's all. That's your
To
business.
get out of a situation.
That's your business. I'm
All
gonna
right.
be-
Well,
But I tell my students, whatever you do, it has to work. Use common sense. Don't try to.
that's
do
what I'm saying
anything
though. When it
stupid.
comes like if you're gonna go send somebody to testing,
keep it simple.
it should be able to work relatively in normal circumstances. You don't know it's going to work, but that's why I don't like trying to grade somebody on it. I can't grade you on something that I don't know.
What drives me?
I know
crazy-
kata. I know sparring. I know what to look for. I know you didn't break the board because it didn't break.
What drives me crazy is, especially the newer kid, this new generation coming up, then they think they know it all.
And then
You got two attackers, but you're gonna be facing one attacker. The other attacker's behind you, waiting. I'm like, no, you know what? That attacker behind you in the back should crack your head for being an idiot. You should always keep an eye on anything and everything going on, not just the one in front of you and forget about the back. If I would have been the attacker in the back, I'd go ahead and slap your ass off.
Well, that's what I'm getting at too. If two people are really going to come at you in the confines of I'm facing two attackers and I have to go, bow, assume your ready position, come at me, bro. And then they're coming. Guess what?
They're what?
Somebody would have done, come at me, bro. Somebody would have done grabbed you. Stop. Seriously. Somebody would have done grabbed you, and then you're done. I don't like this. Like, so if somebody comes up behind you with like a choke or something like that, if they catch you off guard, especially if they're bigger than you, and they pull you backwards, what in the hell can I do? Nothing. I better hope I can grab something and I can pluck an eyeball, because
I might just pee on you.
well, that too.
I'm just saying, that'll get somebody up for you.
But I mean, if you're peeing forward, he's grabbing you and pulling you backwards. That's not going to do any good. You may have to poop on him.
That could be another option.
I'm just saying, we're getting a little bit
Different,
silly here,
just
but-
now scenarios. Look,
I don't know what. I have no idea.
I had this big old black dude one time in my class, and I said, I want you to grab me, because he didn't think I could get away. I said, oh, okay. I want you to grab me and don't let me go. Whatever happens, don't let me go. He said, okay. He said, you ain't going nowhere, boy. I said, oh, okay. So he grabbed me, big old hands too, and I looked at him. I said, you ready? He thought I was going to hit him. I said, no, I won't even have to really touch you. What I do, I look at him, look at his hand, and I kiss his hand, and he jumped back. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I did what I had to do, and I got away. I didn't have to do nothing else.
Was that an outdoor demonstration or something like that? Because I remember that too. Somebody was they were trying to grab it. You were like, you kicked him.
that was-
Boom!
That
Because
was-
you didn't know what they were going to do.
Yes.
It was an impromptu thing where somebody wanted to say, well, you're you're a karate teacher. We're
They
going
were
to,
testing it.
that they put there. He was like a news announcer or something like that.
Yes.
I remember.
Yeah.
I was there that day.
Messed up his silky shirt.
Well, I mean, he didn't know what to expect, and Jose didn't know what to expect. Well, that's when, all right, you got two things to worry about there. One, you don't look like an idiot. Two, you have no idea what this guy's going to do. So, first thing he did, and it was perfect. It was perfect. Guy started coming at him without thinking. Jose took his foot and front kicked him as hard as he could right in the gut. Didn't care that this was some kind of demonstration. He didn't know what the guy was doing. You don't know what somebody's going to do?
Mm-mm.
You're not going to make me look stupid. And two, I don't know what you're about to do. So be thankful I kicked you in the gut instead of the nuts.
Yeah, true.
Because he hit him, and that guy was like, oh,
He's squealing.
boy, he didn't know what to think. And that was the best thing I could ever come up with in my mind to show people. Nobody realized, and it was not fake. It was not set up, because I was up there going, oh.
Like he was holding onto the microphone and everything. Looked like the Statue of Liberty when it went down.
you got to be careful with that because I mean, like I said, you've got a school that you have to pay the bills for, and then somebody's got to come up and go, well, show me how it works. Well, just hold on, Billy Badass.
Yeah, they're gonna test you, and that's one of those moments you got to go full force. Look,
like I said, you didn't go full force, but you didn't know you made it known that. You're not. I don't know what you're about to do, so you better back up.
Because I even tried to talk. I was trying to talk him out of it. Like, no, you know what? I got 3 girls who are dying to get hands on you. He's like, no, I want you. I'm like, all right, but I mean, he was wearing nice silky white shirt.
I remember.
Yeah, well,
I remember. That was that day that the mat was so hot you couldn't even do the cottage on it. It was like 110 degrees outside in Bessemer, Alabama.
All bulking up and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so hot. It was like, cheese like rises up the bubble. That's what the mat was doing.
Well, he learned.
Well, I mean, that was.
He was stuttering afterwards.
That's what you got to. He should have been. I'm surprised he didn't himself.
He might have. He smelled a little bit.
But. This is what I'm getting at. Self-defense, I mean, you can do certain drills, you can do certain things. I don't agree with the fact that if you try to grade somebody on it. Okay? How do you grade somebody on their ability to defend themselves? One, you're not in the scenario. It's not real. How do you grade it on? It's not like doing a form and be like, well, you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do this, and then, okay. It's hard to do that.
I think it should be the attacker, grading the person, whether it works and it actually hurts. I think that person attacking
you're trying to get somebody sued.
Could tell you better than just standing from the outside looking in with a really true.
Yeah, but like I said, you can't do that. I can't. Sorry, so you're going to be my attacker. I can't just go, hold on now. That's my person. And I just, bam, kick you as hard as I can out of the nuts. how many people are going to test? And how many people are going to be partners to do the test?
Look,
Zero.
Nowadays I seen some stuff. I'm like, my jaw hits the floor. If you're going to do self-defense, that's something that you always got to work on. It
can't be a one and done.
No, you can't just okay. A few days before testing, whatever. Here it is. No, that's something to me. I know everybody's different. Everybody got a different opinion. Everybody got a different whatever. But to me, self-defense go hand in hand with fighting. You got to have your defensive, and you got to have whatever else you're going to throw out.
And you've got to learn how to do that in different situations.
Right. Everything, you have to have both. It's almost like left arm, right arm. Right? You just can't, not everything is going to be only one way and that's it. You have to learn whether it's a simple block, whether it's a graph, or whatever it may be. To me,
whether somebody's got a hold of you and you've got to learn how to wrestle a little bit to get yourself out of something.
Self-defense and fighting, it has to coexist. You're not going to be where, well, I'm going to fight this person, I'm going to win, and that's the end of that. And they're not going to block, and they're not going to do anything, and just take an ass beating, and that's it. No. Now, there might be some cases that might be the thing, but in actual tournaments or whatever the case may be.
Like sloth come at you and like,
To me, in my own mind and everything that I do, self-defense coexists with full contact fighting. It has to.
I agree with you, but it's not the be all end all. It's the best thing that we have to be able to do that, because otherwise, and this is something else we may get into, cross training. You got to be adept at other things.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so did you wrestle?
I mean, just
like sport wrestling.
Oh, that. Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about chunky girls.
No, all right, sport wrestling.
No.
All right, so I wrestled in high school only 1 year, but it gave me an idea. So you got to train in.
You wrestled?
I did.
Are you sure you didn't want the dude with the towels?
No, I wasn't doing the towels. I actually wrestled. Okay. But if you don't know like if somebody grabs you, and I'm not trying to love on you here, but if somebody gets you and they control you and you don't know what to do, like if I control your arm and still, just you only know poo poo, punch, kick. You have to know different.
Yeah,
it's got to be there. You have to. There's no be. I like the full contact thing because, like I said, it puts you out there under pressure against somebody who's trying to hurt you within certain rules. It's no different than what boxing would be. Boxing's great for self-defense, I think. I think a normal boxer would take out most people pretty easily, but the bang. But if somebody got them on the ground, they don't know what to do. Same thing with us. We really don't know what to do, but we do. We've in certain situations, it's just one of those things. You can't train everything perfectly, but having something that's resistance and pressure tested is much more likely to work for you than something that you've never tested against pressure. Yeah, it's the same thing with bag work and stuff like that. People ask me, how do you build power? Well, in striking, yeah, you lift weights and you do resistance training, but you know how I know I'm hitting harder? You take a pad. You have somebody hold it against a stationary target where it's not a pad that's going to give when you hit it. It's got to be stationary. That way, when I hit it, all the force of what I just hit with came back on me.
Yep.
That way, I mean, one, it tells me if I'm punching right, if my wrist's right, it won't buckle. But it also tells me the stronger I get, the more force is coming back on me, and I get used to that. And that's how I know I'm hitting harder because, one, I'm not hitting it, and then it's going, all the force is back on me. I'm able to penetrate through that, and it still gives me the force, but you've got to have that coming back on you to know if you're building power.
And that's what I try to explain to my students. You have to learn the mechanics of whatever you're doing. I mean, from the round kick, I've seen people keeping their legs bent compared to the legs,
It's like a baseball bat, straight in.
Because the mechanics of one way might not work, the mechanics of different way. I mean, using different muscle lines and all this come in play. You learn the mechanics first, and then apply everything else behind it so you understand what you're doing. If you don't understand what you're doing, then it's not going to work for you. It's just like everything else. Learn the mechanics. If you don't understand it, ask questions and learn from there. If not, then it's going to take you twice as long.
Yeah.
So,
we'll start this show off just like or end the show just like I started it. That's my purse. I don't know you. Whack.
all up in there.
Us. How do you? Got a little bit more something to add.
Mm-hmm. So another thing too that I've noticed, if one, you have no idea as far as teaching self-defense, or you really don't do self-defense, or whatever the case may be, please do us a favor. Don't be posting YouTube videos on how to do self-defense when you really don't practice self-defense. Because I've seen one or two videos to where we're like, what the hell are they thinking? Don't make self-defense videos when you don't know what you're doing.
And I know what else other people are thinking. Okay, smartass. Make a self-defense video for us. We will.
But we ain't talking about us. We ain't talking about... I'm just going to leave it at that.
This was a postscript, by the way. An afterthought. He just had to get more in.
I just have to say it because it was driving me crazy. Because look, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I don't care whose feelings get hurt. I don't care. There's people putting videos out there. They should not be making videos about the self-defense that have no clue what they're doing. That's bottom line. I'll give you my phone number and everything. I don't care.
I didn't hear.